Good morning, everyone. Welcome on the third edition of European Defense Challenge, organized by Rzeszów University of Technology in the frame of Assets Plus project. At the beginning, I would like to invite Professor Jarosław Semp, a Vice Rector for Development and Business Cooperation, First Deputy Rector of Rzeszów University of Technology, to say a few words.
Good morning for everyone. It is a great honor for me to be with you today. On behalf of the authorities of Rzeszów University of Technology, I would like to welcome all participants of the launch event of the third edition European Defense Challenge. It is a great honor and pleasure for the Rzeszów University of Technology to be the organizer of this project. It is also a challenge, but the choice of Rzeszów University of Technology is very relevant. Rzeszów is a city located in the southeastern Poland. We are 100 kilometers away from the border with Ukraine. From our perspective, security problems are particularly visible. This is the third edition of European Defense Challenge, but it will take place at a special time. Russia's aggression towards Ukraine means that we must prioritize issues related to the security of Europe. European security has many aspects. Military security is just one of them. There are also other aspects, such as energy, technological, and cybersecurity aspects that are extremely important. We must look again and together at the problems of European security. We should strive for sovereign and technologically independent Europe. We need to build a European future by educating young people and identifying talented students who will be able in the future to make changes in the right direction. European Defense Challenge is one of the initiatives aimed at this goal. We encourage students to take part in the competition and present ideas for improving European security. I wish everyone that the third edition of the European Defense Challenge will be successful and bring many groundbreaking ideas. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Jarosław, for this introduction. What you said, it is really great motivation for the young people to participate in the challenge. And now I would like to present the challenge topic and organization. I'm going to share my screen, my slides. Okay, I hope that you can see already. As you can see, the topic of the challenge is security, threats identification, and defense strategies. As Jarosław already said, the military actions currently taking place in Eastern Europe are the good motivation to think about the European security. The Europe is threatened by various types of attacks, both in the field and in the network. Also, the technological race can lead to intellectual property theft. Therefore, the security is the key topic of this challenge. Moreover, experts estimate that 4.07 million cybersecurity specialists were missing in 2019, and now a 145% increase is needed to meet market demand. So the current topic of the challenge is security, threats identification, and defense strategies. We are talking about the threats in the areas of defense industry, intellectual property theft, military equipment, auxiliary equipment, information flow, data protection, military operations, border surveillance, and others. Of course, in the context of security and cybersecurity. The proposals which will be sent by the students can be related to land, air, sea, space, and cyberspace areas. The proposal can describe how the well-known technologies, such as, for example, data science, sensors, robotics, cybersecurity, autonomous systems, can support us with threats identification and to defend ourselves. The proposal can also suggest new technologies, further development of technologies, combinations of the technologies. We would like to invite students to pair up. So better discussion, better elaboration of the problems, of the existing problems can be when you are talking when you are talking with somebody, when you work in a team. We also encourage students to look for other students, maybe from another university, maybe from another country. So you will have maybe different point of view, and you will be able to propose better solution. Here on the slide, you can see the timeline which we are going to follow. The challenge is already open. We have already some students registered. The registration is already possible from June this year. Now we have time, you have time, students have time to analyze what are the threats which they can deal in their proposals. They have time to November 14 to prepare one-page proposal. During this time from today until the November 14, you will have students will have 5 online seminars, which will help the students to analyze, to identify the existing threats, and to look for defense strategies. Here you can see what online seminars we are proposing you. First seminar will be already next week on Monday. It will be on security aspects from industry point of view. We will have industrial experts who will present the existing challenges, and maybe we will also see what are the strategies currently existing in companies, which are to prevent current and also maybe future threats. Then next week, October 17, you will learn how to write a good report. We will help you in this. We will tell you what is important to be included into such a report, how to analyze the topic, how to analyze the threat, how to look for the strategy to prevent the threats. Then October 24th, we will have the next seminar on critical thinking. And during this seminar, we would like to discuss a little bit on how to analyze the currently existing strategies, how to criticize the strategies, how to look for new solutions which can be better and which can help in threats elimination. During the next seminar on October 31, we will discuss about literature review methodologies. We will present the students the different kinds of methods that can be used to look for reliable publications, important publications, which can be used in your research. And finally, in November 8, we will discuss the role of cybersecurity for defense. We will have some experts who will explain us what is the most important when we are talking about cybersecurity. So, as you can see, the seminars which we are proposing can significantly help you in development your proposal. First, you will need to find a topic, a threat or threats which are important. Then you will have to propose some strategies. When you will deliver this one-page proposal, all the proposals will be assessed by reviewers. We will have 3 reviewers who will assess each proposal, 1 reviewer from university. We will have also defense expert, and we will have reviewer from industry. The better, let's say like this, the better proposals will go to the second phase of the second stage of the challenge. And then you will have much more time to deliberate more about your proposal, about your defense strategy. In the meantime, we will have webinar with defense experts on December 12th. So you can listen a little more what they are thinking about the current situation and the future strategies. And you will have time to prepare 10-page proposals, which should be delivered until February 14. Then the work will be assessed again by the reviewers, and the best proposals will be awarded. Award ceremony we will have on March 14. Here you can see the awards which we are proposing to our students. I think that the most award is that you can have the first place, or that you can be the winner of the European Defense Challenge. For the first place, students, I hope that it will be 2 students, because we really encourage you to pair up in a team. So the students will have a possibility to spend 1 day in EU institutions, will have a chance to meet defense stakeholders in Brussels, but also they will have a chance to meet HR manager. The discussion with the HR manager will be about CV and job interview. Moreover, the students will receive technology-related gift and diploma. Of course, we also have awards for the second place, for the third place, and also for young student or young students under 20 years old, as you can see on the slide. What kind of benefits you can have from participating the challenge? First of all, you can participate in the series of seminars on this series of online seminars. We think that participating in these seminars will help you not only in preparation of the proposal for the challenge, but also in your future career. You can have a broader view of what is going on in Europe, in industry. What are the challenges in the current life? But also you will learn maybe some more about research methodology, about how to present good proposal, so somebody can listen to you, can assess, and moreover, you will have a possibility to see the point of view of experts from industry, of experts from defense. What else? It is also important that European Defense Challenge is a part of Assets Plus project. And in the frame of this project, we propose different courses. The courses in which you can learn about modern technologies, which are important for industry. So you will also have the possibility to attend the courses. And if you win the challenge, you will be also visible on the project website, and you will be invited to collaborate with us, and I'm sure with different companies. So, to summarize, I can say that participation in the European Defence Challenge is very important for the students. You can boost your career, you can be noticed by people from industry, by experts. Even if you will not win the challenge, the experts, people from industry, will read your proposal. And if you present something what will be interesting for them, they can invite you for collaboration, even if you will not win. But of course, I wish you all to prepare this one, the best work to be the winning proposal. Thank you very much. I hope that I presented enough clearly what we are expecting from the students and what we are going to do in this challenge. Now, I would like to invite Colonel Robert Łukawski, Colonel retired, former Deputy Director of Inspectorate of Innovative Defense Technologies Implementation of Polish Ministry of National Defense, who has great experience in NATO operations. Currently, he acts as specialist for contacts with the Ministry of National Defense at the University Research Center of Defense and Security of the Warsaw University of Technology. Robert, please tell us something what can motivate the students to take a part into the challenge.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Just to supplement the basic information about my career, I would like to add that I have spent 20 years within the Air Force structure, dealing with the Air Force issues for the 20 years, serving on the different levels, including the Polish Air Force Command and the NATO Component Command Air Ramstein Headquarters Service. And the last 10 years I have spent in Polish Ministry of National Defense structure involved in the Polish Armed Forces development process, especially focusing on the research and development programs and projects. And during my speech, I would like to present some information and conclusions referring to the role of the technologies and its impact on the military operations. And additionally, I will try to give you some flavor of the military theory and practical suggestions in terms of research and development process executed to support the capability development of the armed forces generally. Please find this thesis as some kind of hints or suggestion which encourage you to more scrutinize studies, self-studies. And first topic which I would like to raise is the art of the war theory and practice. Let's start with some warfare theory, which will give you more insight to basic information about the armed forces and its role in politics and war. Firstly, let's try to answer the question about the armed forces as an organization. What is its role in the country and for what are they? Some prompt gives the Karl von Clausewitz's famous statement, maybe you heard that the war is a continuation of the politics using another means. So so it is a constitution of what force are the armed forces. In many countries, the key role of the armed forces is the same, almost the same. to ensure and guarantee the integration, sovereignty, and independence of the country territory. To fulfill its obligation, the armed forces comprise usually, but not always, of the three branches, main branches: Air Force, Navy, Maritime Forces, and the Land Forces. The distinction factor is the main warfare environment where the military goals are achieved. Moreover, armed forces act at the three levels: strategic, operational, and tactical. Strategic level is adequate to the political military interaction and is realized at the highest organizational level, for instance, president, prime minister, government, and chief of general staff or main armed forces commander. The execution of the strategic guidelines and directives is performed at the operational level. From the military point of view, is the most important level. The joint military, where the interaction with the civic military cooperation is also existing. And the lowest level is the tactical level, is performed by the services forces like armored fighters, artillery, mine hunting ships, submarines, etc., but always acting together with other engaged forces and services to achieve operational goals of operation. The newest warfare theory and practice indicate that the military operation will always be executed within the joint manner. It means that at least two of the armed forces branches, also named components, will be engaged and will operate together to achieve main operational and political goals. In this respect, there will be supported and supporting relationship between the components, and because of this relationship, they may the changes may depends on the phases of the operation. And for example, we can start the operation being air, maritime, or land operation, where the air is the supported branch, while during the next stage, maritime air operation will be executed. It means, or land air operation could be executed, where another branch will be supported, and air will plays the role of supporting force. But this is much more interaction during the military operation between the different actors, not only the military actors. In the line with the comprehensive approach to operation, the successful warfare operation will vary also from the synergy of the action performed by the other participants, like, for example, police, border guards, civil airspace coordination authority, or industry. All these entities are very important elements to support armed forces operations, especially in terms of the combat capabilities, restoration, and process to support them with the logistic. Summarizing, you can notice that the military operations or warfare is multidisciplinary and very complicated process, which many actors acts together on the different levels to achieve main political and military goals. Let's move then to another topic, the technology impact on the military operations. At the beginnings, I will try to give you some information about the technology and what kind of impact it could be, it could place in military planning and preparation process. The staff of the warfare is to gain advance over the opponent or enemy, which enabling to force our will to achieve their own goals. For instance, to gain air superiority, to achieve freedom of movement, etc. This process of planning and preparation of the armed forces, or all branches, is realized at the joint operational level, and the process is called OPP, Operational Planning Process. During the OPP, the analysis of the own forces capabilities are performed, as well as the opposite side forces analysis to confront both sides and prepare the most suitable plan for the execution. The process is very complicated and lasts usually 2 weeks, when the strengths and weaknesses of the sides, both sides, are considered, as well as technical capabilities of the armament systems. One of the procedures utilized by the planning officer during the operational planning process is capability comparison. This method based on the assessment of the technological capabilities of the armament system, which generate the force capabilities within each of the service and branches. This is more or less technical data performance evaluation. And to do this, the planning staff apply the standard platform capabilities as a basis for the comparison. For instance, in the Air Force businesses, the aircraft capabilities are described by the 4 groups of performance factors. First group is combat effectiveness, which describes the capabilities to perform applied action and achieve desired effects. For the fighter, air-to-ground operation is how too many DMPIs is able to secure during the one flight or one mission. DMPI stands for desired main point of impact. And what is the effectiveness of the armament against target and effects we are supposed to gain. The second group is space, where the tactical radius or range is considered. It means how deep we are able to operate. Third group is time, where the duration of the mission is main factor being assessed, or time of reaction and performance. And the last one is survivability, where capability to survive during the mission performance is main matter. For instance, it refers to the self-defense means, chaff and flowers, or additional pods, electronic warfare protection, something like that. So as you can see, the technology which constitute the armament performance and its combat capabilities is very important factor inflicting the expected success of warfare. And now some clues about the examples of how technology changes the warfare and how the warfare impacts on the technologies. First example, we refer to the technology impact on the warfare. There is plenty of examples of such impact during the ages of warfare, like for instance crossbows during the medieval age, or rifles or guns, etc. But I will refer to the one newest one. It is a stealth technology. This technology directly opened a new era in the combat aircraft classification and capabilities. And based on this, the new class of the aircraft is considered now 5th generation, and additionally has changed the tactics and operational art of the air operations. I will not follow on with the details because it's more sensitive issues which shouldn't be discussed. And second example is vice versa model, where the warfare needs imposed changes into the technology. This is also the very new invention, let's say, not far away. Introduction to the service, the armed drone, which took place in Afghanistan in 2006. It's MQ-1 Predator, today known as a Reaper. Initially, the Predator was only for the reconnaissance missions, but because of the necessity to be able to engage the confirmed target just after the recognition, this kind of platform was armed with the additional armament system to give them more freedom of movement and reaction time for the operation. Technology is not only the kinetic capability. This may be economy of warfare causing reduction of the materials or lubricants using during the operation. This is also the ergonomics of vehicles, speed of process of regeneration, simplicity of maintenance, and many others, other areas like biology, medicine, or chemical disciplines of science. Concluding, the technical and technological advance of the armament system and logistics are one of the areas to seek the potential to achieve the success of the military action. And the third topic, the research and development process for the armament system. The technological advance over the opponent or enemy is not only the issue which should be considered during the execution of the military operations. The building of the favorable position of the own forces against the enemy is the constant process realizing through the peacetime also. The importance of the technologies may also be noticed in reference to the countries and alliance approach to the armament forces capability development process. Every country plays a very important role to the armament research and development and increasing of their own industrial capabilities, of course, within the defined level of ambition and strategy. But there is some logical pattern which is introduced by the all European nations. R&D, research and development, as the supplementary process of the building the future defense capabilities and advantage over the potential enemy. Based on that, the Polish approach is the same. We pay very important role for the R&D. This process is included in the national capability development process executed by the General Staff and is one of the way to possess the new armament system. And in Poland, every year, 2.5% of the MOD budget dedicated for the armament purchase are allocated directly to the research and development projects. Also, within the NATO and European Union, you can find many initiatives and standing organizational structures which are responsible for the research and development of the armament system. There is a European Defense Agency, EDA, who initiates the project dedicated to each military specialization under the 13 capability development teams called CapTech. A capability technology groups is a research and technology working group dedicated to the particular technology area, and the purpose of the CapTechs is to generate collaborative research and technology projects within the specific technology scope and to support EDA participating member states with necessary expertise when required in the preparation of the wider programs. There is also newest EU initiative to support directly the defense industry across the Europe. These European Defense Funds, and under the 2021-2027 multi-annual financial framework, scaling up the funding for the collaborative research in innovative defense products and technologies, and for subsequent stages of the development cycles, including the development of the prototypes. It aims at fostering the competitiveness and innovativeness of the European defense technological and industrial base, thereby contributing to the EU strategy and autonomy. The fund started functioning on 1st January 21st, 2021 with total agreed budget of almost 8 billion euros for the period of years 2021-27. So it's a huge amount of money. Also, the NATO has created a dedicated framework for the alliance collaboration in terms of the new technologies, especially this called emerging or disruptive ones. This specialized agency is called NATO Science and Technology Organization, which is a NATO subsidiary body created to meet the collective science and technology needs of the NATO alliance and its partner nations. The STO does this by the generating, sharing, and disseminating advanced scientific knowledge, technological developments, and innovation resulting from its many projects and activities within the collaborative program of work. The total spectrum of the collaborative efforts is addressed by the 6 technical panels who manage a wide range of scientific research and activities. And these panels and groups are the powerhouse of the collaborative model and are made up of national representatives as well as recognized world-class scientists, engineers, and information specialists. In addition to providing the critical technological oversight, they also provide a communication link to military users and other NATO bodies.
Thank you very much, Robert. Thank you very much. This is very interesting.
Just I will summary because this is almost the end. I would like to raise the Latin sentence, si vis pacem para bellum. It means that if you want the peace, you must be prepared or ready for the war. It means that armed forces shouldn't be treated as a tool to open the conflict, but rather as something which could prevent some potential escalation and also deter the deter posture against the opponent. And I hope that I encourage you to development more and go deeper in the development and research process of the armament system in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this nice overview of important military aspects, but also technological aspects. And you mentioned a little bit about financial aspects. And it is worth to emphasize probably that only by educating young people, we can prevent the war. As the first rule of the art of war you mentioned is to prevent the war.
Yes, that's true.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Now it's time for Mrs. Sonia de Mello Xavier, Policy Officer in DG Employment, Social Affairs and Inclusion, involved in Skills Agenda Development Impact for Skills team of the European Commission, to present status of the employment in defense sector. Sonia, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to be here with you today. As Dorota mentioned, I work for the European Commission, for the Director General for Employment, Social Affairs and Inclusion. And I'm a policy officer in the Skills Agenda unit. In fact, I'm here to present to you an initiative that is, in fact, the first flagship initiative of the Skills Agenda, which is the European Union's skills strategy that is meant to guide the skills development framework for the whole of the EU. And it is a strategy that is implemented together with another European strategy, which is called the European Industrial Strategy, which is under the responsibility of another Directorate General in the Commission, in fact, the Directorate General that is responsible for the internal markets. What are we doing with the Pact for Skills? In fact, we have launched the Pact for Skills under the policy framework of the skills agenda and the EU industrial strategy, in order to bring businesses, and here it's very important to emphasize that it's any type of business, large and small, social partners, education and training providers, associations, regional clusters associations, local authorities, chambers of commerces, and in fact, this list is not even exhaustive, because the aim of the Pact is really to bring all organizations that are actually having an impact on skills and up in reskilling of people of working age. And of course, this very much includes stakeholders such as universities. The Pact was launched 2 years ago, and in fact, it's an initiative that has been gathering quite a lot of political momentum and has attracted a great deal of interest from the different political representatives in the European Commission, because in fact we have my commissioner that is responsible for it, Mr. Nicolas Schmid, also Thierry Breton, who is responsible for the industrial strategy, and also, for instance, the Vice President Skinas and the President of the European Commission are also very attentive to what we are doing in the framework of the Pact for Skills. So how is the Pact being implemented? In fact, in the EU industrial strategy, we have 14 industrial ecosystems. One of them is an ecosystem that is called aerospace and defense. And of course, there are 14, and this is only one of them. But we are getting stakeholders in these 14 ecosystems to create large-scale partnerships. And the large-scale partnerships, they are usually involving the stakeholders that I mentioned before in my previous slides. And they are being underpinned by a financing instrument of the Erasmus program, which is called the Erasmus Blueprint, which is in fact the same instrument that is financing the Assets program. So in fact, the Erasmus Blueprint has been really crucial in helping us create these large-scale partnerships. And the aim for these large-scale partnerships is, in fact, to bring stakeholders together and to get them to make concrete investments in upskilling opportunities for employees in companies and in the whole value chain of the industrial ecosystem, for instance, such as the aerospace and defense ecosystem. We are also working quite a lot with regional and local skills partnerships, because although the idea of the Commission is to have these large-scale partnerships, we are very much aware that action is actually taking place on the ground, and in particular by regional and local actors that are making individual commitments to provide quality upskilling opportunities for their workforce. Already with the Pact for Skills, we have in the 14 ecosystems of the EU industrial strategy, 12 large-scale partnerships that have been launched. One of them is the aerospace and defense. And together, these members of the Pact and the large-scale partnerships have committed to provide close to 6 million up and reskilling opportunities in the coming years to members of the European workforce. We already have over 700 signatories of the Charter, and the pact is very much an initiative that is kept on growing since it was launched. And in the last 2 years, it's been really building the base of members. As I was saying, we have very different types of stakeholders. We have large multinational companies, but we also have local training providers, SMEs, and very varied stakeholders. For instance, in the aerospace and defense large-scale partnership, the coordinator is Airbus. But of course, there are also smaller stakeholders that are working in this sector and in other sectors. One thing that is interesting for you to know is that out of the 14 the 14 ecosystems and indeed the 12 large-scale partnerships that we have, of course, aerospace and defense is one of them, but we have other large-scale partnerships that are relevant for aerospace and defense. And in particular, I would highlight microelectronics. Within the transport ecosystem, we have a large-scale partnership in the shipbuilding and in the automotive industry, which are also very relevant. And of course, we have a very important large-scale partnership, not only for the aerospace and defense ecosystem, but for all ecosystems at large, which is the digital partnership. This was, in fact, the last partnership to be launched in the framework of the Pact for Skills. And I've heard Dorota in her introductory remarks explaining, for instance, the importance of the work that you will have to develop and the work that is being done on cybersecurity. And of course, cybersecurity is very much one of the priority areas for the work of the digital partnership, and is in fact an area where discussions in the European Commission and at the political level, I mean, also for reasons that some of the other speakers have mentioned, such as the conflict in Ukraine, are getting really on top of the political agenda. So there's really quite a lot of focus on this. In addition to the large-scale partnerships that we have, the European Commission is also supporting the work of the large-scale partnerships. We have, in fact, a support services contract that is implemented by a contractor called Equities. And here, Equities is helping us in 3 different areas. They are promoting networking activities in our 700 members base. They are developing a knowledge hub for us where webinars and seminars and learning activities are taking place. They are they're functioning as a platform to help companies and universities and other stakeholders being updated on what is going on at the European level. It's a forum for policymakers like myself to communicate with companies as well. Of course, a very important dimension is that of financing and projects, which is also being provided through this platform. And we also have a guidance and resources hub, which brings together different areas of EU work, in particular the complex world of financing programs together with stakeholders. In fact, one thing that, considering that you are a basis of of students, and of course you will be interested and following very closely what is in this for you, because of course I've been talking a lot about companies and how companies can come together in the pact, but obviously the main aim of the pact is to work with companies, but to upskill and reskill working age people. So as university students, you are very much part of the target group of the Pact for Skills, because in fact, it is, for our work in the Pact, it is really quite important to remain in contact with the academic world, and even to involve the academic world in the work of the Pact very actively, because what we see in Europe at the moment is that there are very important skills and labor shortages in several critical ecosystems of the EU economy. In fact, in the work that we develop with the Pact, what we hear from very varied ecosystems and very varied sectors of the EU economy is precisely this, that there is a lack of workers and that there is a lack of skilled workers. So it's very important for us to make this articulation with academia, and also to reach out to you as the workers of tomorrow. Also with a perspective of getting you to see that for European industry to be successful, also in global terms, it is very important that all the potential of the EU workforce is mobilized, and that, for instance, one topic that is very dear to us, and it's in fact a priority of the skills agenda, is to increase the participation of women in sectors that are more technical, and also to improve the attractiveness of some of the sectors of the EU economy to young people. In fact, we hear very often, and I can tell you that this is, for instance, something that the stakeholders of the microelectronics ecosystem tell us very often, that they have really a lot of difficulty in getting not only women, but also young people to work in their ecosystem, because they perceive it as really a problem of image of the sector. And so for us, it's very important really to demystify, this inaccessibility of certain sectors of the European economy, and also to get, as wide a base as possible of students and workers to retrain, to upskill and reskill, and to be able to go from one sector of the EU economy, so for instance from a different ecosystem to another. So in fact, the skills that are acquired, let's say, in renewable energies or in the energy intensive ecosystem, can be relevant, for instance, to the work that is being done in aerospace and defense, or the work that is done in shipbuilding and automotive is definitely very relevant for the work that is being done in aerospace and defense. So for us, it's really very important to promote this interconnectivity between the different ecosystems of the EU industrial strategy, and to get young people and to get women, to think about different careers and to think about a professional activity in these different areas. As I said at the start of my presentation, the Pact was launched 2 years ago, And in fact, my Director General will have an event where we will be focusing on employment and social rights. And this event will, in fact, focus quite a lot on the activities that we have been doing in the framework of the skills agenda. And of course, the Pact for Skills is one of these actions. So there will be a focus on the pacts. We will have testimonials from companies that are members of the Pact. And in this edition of the event, we will be focusing on the green transition and on the challenges that companies in different ecosystems are facing in order to address the greening objectives of the EU agenda. And of course, there is a very important thing that happened very recently. In fact, in the State of the Union address that was made by President von der Leyen, she announced that 2023 will be the European Year of Skills. And why this announcement now? In fact, this announcement is very much connected to all of the things that I've been telling to you in my presentation, and in particular to the shortage of staff in EU industry. Because in fact, what we notice at the moment is that unemployment levels in the EU, they're at a record low, which is a very positive thing, of course. But we also notice that there are gaps in skilled workers in a lot of the crucial industries of the EU economy. And of course, we notice that this can only be improved through better cooperation with companies. And of course, stakeholders like yourself, students in a university, you are, our European future workforce. But a dimension of this discussion also relates to attracting skilled workers, perhaps from other parts of the world, and to facilitate the recognition of qualifications of third country nationals, and to make Europe a more attractive place for skilled workers to move to. To conclude my presentation, the messages that are very important for us, of course, are that up and reskilling actions, not only in aerospace and defense, but in all areas of EU industry, can only be done through a joint effort. And this is why the Pact exists. We are there to mobilize and support players to take concrete action. So action that will have an impact, we hope, in your professional life. With these skills partnerships, we are pooling expertise and resources because we firmly believe that big players and small players need to work together and make concerted efforts for up and reskilling action. And also, we very much see an important dimension that takes place at the regional level, because we believe that concrete actions and our added value in this is really coming from what is being done on the ground. And of course, what is being done on the ground includes very much, the work of academia, like the University of Pisa. And of course, if you want to know more about the Pact for Skills, we just launched an improved dedicated website. I believe that you will be able to get my slides later on. So
Thank you.
I would quite encourage you to look at the Pact website. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this very important information. Thank you very much for presenting the Pact for Skills. We can summarize that Europe is hungry of young, talented and skilled people. I think that European Defence Challenge is the best place for the students to show themselves. Thank you again for this presentation. Now I would like to ask Mr. Maurizio Ferrante, Head of Training and Knowledge Management in Leonardo, the company that is one of the most important players in aviation, defense and security industry, to present, to say a few words about importance of European Defence Challenge for European security and about benefits for students from participating the challenge. And it is worth to add that Leonardo is also a partner in Assets Plus project.
Okay, thank you, Professor Stadznika. Good morning, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank Asset Plus for inviting me to make a brief speech to this great event today. And also on behalf of all the defense companies that are part of the Asset Plus, I would like to thank you for the participation, especially of those young people that are interested in this third edition of the European Defense Challenge. Here in front of us stands a big challenge: the security, the threats identification and defense strategies. What's happening close to Europe's frontiers confirms us that extend it's mandatory to reinforce, to strengthen the European defense industry capabilities. This is not anymore a nice to have, it's a must, we cannot postpone. But why it is so important for you to stay here today? I do really believe that the answer to this question is the answer to what our future will be like. Today's events marks the start of a journey, of a particular challenge we wish you to accept to live with us. The students' participation in this initiative offers them a unique opportunity, as it was told. First of all, they will be able to grapple with topics of enormous interest in terms of the knowledge and skills that are crucial in today's world. These skills, which can clearly be tracked back to STEM disciplines for simplicity's sake, are today a key asset for improving the employability of all in the world of work. They will then be able to engage with these topics, generate innovative ideas, turn knowledge into ideas, suggestions, and thus useful skills. These are exactly the skills that defense companies require, but they are exactly skills that are essential today in all the fast-growing and changing sectors. They are everything that all best employers and high-tech companies are looking for in young people today, not just for defense. In particular, all proposals will be screened by a team of experts in the various sectors, and the Asset Plus companies will have the opportunity and the honor to assess not only the winners, but also the participants for possible in-depth knowledge, also aimed at company placement. Then, how to tackle this challenge for you? Two words are key: technologies and competencies, obviously. Technologies, all of us know very well. I don't want to repeat the ideas that were very well explained before. We are facing huge and fast development in technologies. This did not happen overnight. It's a quite bit long process. But you know what? This technological transformation journey is here to stay and calls for a strategic and systemic response. Moreover, businesses, all continuously looking for talents, are considering this as the top priority for our recruitment. It's not the news of today. The potential application of these new technologies in the defense sector are huge. Many of them today even unpredictable. So it's important to stress the point I touched before. We have to bear in mind that these will be a lot of opportunities in terms of job careers and professional growth. For this reason, we are looking for people that have the willingness, the enthusiasm to exploit these technologies, not only the nature ones, but mainly the emerging ones. In particular,
I see that we lost connection with Maurizio. He's coming. Okay, Maurizio, you are back.
Just to stress the importance of the STEAM competencies, it is the competence that the European defense industries are looking for.
I see that we still have the problem with connection. I'm not sure if we...
The connection is fine. We can hear perfectly, Maurizio.
Okay. In particular, STEM is the competencies that the European defense industries are looking for and continuously feeding. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. but also arts, the ability to activate the right human-specific abilities to exploit technologies. Then, with the new emerging technologies, new competencies are needed. We at Asset Plus are deeply aware of this, and we want to support the education system as well as the defense industry, not only to be prepared to respond to this change, to be reactive. We want to do something more. That means to be predictive. We want to nurture competencies that are able to anticipate the future needs of the system, of our customers, in order to be ready when it will be requested. We thank the European Commission for supporting the defense ecosystem, developing a systemic approach to skills by leveraging all relevant stakeholders, vocational educational providers, universities, industries, local authorities, to address the issue of ensuring a consistent talent pipeline throughout the talent life cycle. That's the reason, valuable and effective reason, of the European Defense Challenge, to attract young people like you, young talent like you, to let you discover the huge possibilities of a job career in the defense industry. In order to do that, we are implementing a set of different initiatives that boost cooperation and reinforce and consolidate the educational system, but also reskilling our working population, as well as our supplier base, and in some cases, our customer through joint training initiatives. Of course, these initiatives are necessary, but not sufficient. This is what we aim at by joining the Pact for Skills and Defense sector. This is what we are doing within our Asset Plus project. An extremely useful way through which students can deepen their understanding of how some of these issues are interpreted in the defense sector is to participate in the free courses that Asset Plus makes available on the platform. There is a catalog of courses in continuous evolution and improvement held by some of the best European experts, and which you can enroll in free of charge. The European Defense Challenge is a key output of our Asset Plus effort, this initiative exactly, and we look forward to engaging young grads and undergrads because you are a very big asset for the future of our industry. As we said, young talents are a key support for the future of the defense companies, so technical skills are important. Finally, another central and different purpose of our industry is to implement a company culture in which every people has the opportunity to show all the potential, in which no one is left behind, in which everyone is called for pushing the boundaries, like modern, digital, green, innovative, emotional, and professional. In a few words, we, the European defense companies, are looking for young talents that want to share this vision, be part of a leading and technological future of our countries. Well, I'm at the end of my speech, my brief speech. I wish you good luck to all participants, and I give back the word to Professor Stadzenica. Hoping to be quick enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Maurizio, for this very nice presentation, for encouraging our students, all the European students, to take a part in the European Challenge. And now I would like to invite Mr. José Espinal, who belongs to Navantia Systems Division as Technology Programs Director, and who is the one of the most lawful defense technology expert in naval systems, to present security aspects from a naval point of view. Jose, I would like to ask you to give the students some hints about the challenge topics, about threats, and about defense strategies.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Dorota. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for this invitation to participate in this very interesting program. Today, we will talk about the operational naval threats, the current and future naval threats, and also the defense strategies to counterattack, to counter threat that to the enemy threat. Okay, I will use some slides. First of all, I'd like to spend just some seconds to present my company. I belong to the Navantia, 100% state-owned company. We design and manufacture both warships and also naval system, high technology naval systems such as combat system, communications, fire control system, integrated platform management systems, and many other. Okay, let's go with the body of the presentation. And here I have identified what I think are the most relevant naval operational threats. We start from the top left. Artificial intelligence is a threat in areas such as image recognition, decision support, system behavior prediction, and many other. In fact, artificial intelligence is a threat, but also is a counter threat. We will see it in both pictures, in the threat and in the counter threats view. Second one we identify is maritime electronic warfare, not only in the declared war condition, but also in what is called the hybrid or the gray zone condition. Here, for example, the Spanish maritime authorities has sent very recently, the day before tomorrow, before yesterday, I think, a warning to the civil maritime traffic in the East Mediterranean and Black Sea, communicating them that the AIS and GPS services in those areas could be interrupted because of Russian jamming due to the Ukrainian war. The third could be biotechnology, although this technology will be more interesting or threatening in the land operations, the land domain, than in the maritime domain, I think. Swarm drones, because for example, a very relatively cheap and a small swarm could put out of service the most sophisticated naval radars because the radar antennas are not really strong and can be damaged by a small swarm group. Cyber attack, I want to say here, another example from the Ukraine war is that in the first moment of the war, Russia attacked satellite ground station, cutting the service not only to the Ukrainian army, but also to part of Central Europe satellite services. Onboard laser weapons to defend the ship against anti-ship missiles, because nowadays the defense against those missiles is another missile. Conventional submarine, we have to take into account that in this decade, is expected 100 submarines to be built, and it's a real threat, even considering that the most of them will be conventional submarines, not nuclear, but diesel and electric and batteries submarine. Maybe the most important, the most challenging threat nowadays, even and in the near future, will be the anti-ship hypersonic missiles and ballistic anti-ship missiles. Until now, the speed of the anti-ship missile was subsonic, typically 0.9 Mach. But hypersonic missiles speed is 9 or more Mach. That speed makes really challenging, really difficult the detection of those missiles and also the defense against those missiles. Fortunately, also the speed of the missiles is a challenge for ship detection. The second, the following is the supercavitating torpedoes. Those torpedoes generate a film of gas in the exterior of the torpedo between the skin of the torpedo and the water and the seawater, and reducing the friction and make possible to reach from 3 to 4 times the speed of the traditional torpedo. So it's very difficult to counterattack. Fortunately, again, the range of these torpedoes is still quite low, about 10 kilometers, and they are very noisy too. Satellite interception weapons, both kinetic and non-kinetic. The objective of this weapon is to deny the use of the space for surveillance, for communication, for censoring. Adversary satellites itself is a threat for our armed forces. The modern naval warfare highly depends on the communication, on the connectivity, and on the surveillance provided by the satellite. That's why any force tries to negate the surveillance and comes to the adversary. And due to the importance of the hypersonic missiles, I have included here a couple of diagrams, but I will skip those diagrams. If you want to review it, here is for your comment. In summary, the threats are faster, are more lethal, in greater numbers, in part more economically accessible, and more capable to successfully executing anti-access area denial operations in the naval and cyber domains. Let's go now with the defense technologies and defense strategies. Well, we saw before the artificial intelligence as a threat, and obviously maybe the best defense against the adversary artificial intelligence is our own artificial intelligence. Will be something like the eternal battle fight between the arrow and the shield. There are 5 domains according to the NATO terminology: air, sea, land, space, and cyber. Multi-domain operations is when a military action involves several domains, basically. Those operations demand high level of integration in a collaborative environment. One way to achieve that level of collaboration is using cloud technologies and concept capture from the cyber world. Connectivity, cybersecurity, and interoperability are very important challenges in this ecosystem, in the cloud ecosystem. Cyber was a threat, and cyber defense is an obvious defense. Cyber defense must be also intelligent and adapted to deal with new cyber threats. New naval weapons, laser, electromagnetic railguns will be maybe the only real weapon against the hypervelocity missiles. Challenging need for, one of the challenges is the need for high electrical power in milliseconds on board. Increase of the human situational awareness using new AHMI human-machine interface, such as virtual reality, augmented realities technologies. Quantum warfare, we will see it a bit later. New radar technology, the objective is to create the radars undetectable. One of the ways are the noise radars instead of pulsed radars. Another possibility for achieving this, the undetectability, is the passive radar. Although it's not really new, because passive radars were used in the Second World War by the Germans, detecting Allied aircraft, even using the echoes from the British coastal radars. Massive low elevation orbit constellation, what is called the low LEO. We have seen before that satellites are very important for both communications and surveillance, but one satellite is relatively easy to destroy by means of kinetic weapons. Chinese, US have done that several times, but destroy 2,000 small satellites as part, for example, of the Elon Musk LEO constellation, for instance, is much more difficult. That will be the case using a small low elevation orbit. Unmanned vehicles will be massively introduced for many missions and many types, although never will replace completely the manned naval force. There are a lot of naval operations that cannot be replaced, cannot be fulfilled by a manned system. But for example, here in the picture, we see what is called a large unmanned surface vehicle. Is a surface vehicle, belongs to the US Navy. It has about 100 meters length and is able to carry and launch SM-6 missile. SM-6 missile is a long-range anti-air missile and is completely unmanned. Another technology is the training as the force multiplier. Naval training with the real assets is very expensive. A lot of things to pay: the fuel, the people, the cost of the weapons. Training using modern technologies can provide the needed skill at a fraction of cost. And using technologies such as virtual reality, augmented reality, again, fleet cloud training, collaborative training among allies, and several. Cognitive systems means systems with artificial intelligence, basically. What will be applied to the next new generation of sensors and communication systems, making them more efficient and more resistant to cyber warfare and electronic warfare. But maybe the last is the most important strategy in this case, not technology, is the collaboration. Is the collaboration at all levels, at military level, industry level, academia, as we are doing today, and diplomatic level. So at the end of the day, what we need to have is faster, smarter system with full access to information, more integrated, what is called system of systems, and with greater training capabilities as multipliers of combat capabilities. Just some hint about the near future is the quantum warfare. When we talk about quantum technology, always we think in quantum computing, but the quantum warfare covers more than computing, than quantum computing. To use an example, for example, you have seen in the TV or in the newspaper yesterday the Russian submarine in the Arctic. Well, that Russian submarine could be detected when the quantum magnetometers is mature enough. It's only one example of the quantum technology. And this is the last.
Thank you very much for this nice overview of what is going on, overview of the threats, overview of the currently used technologies. I think that it was very important to show to our students, so they will have a possibility to choose something from this to work, to deal and use in their proposals. Thank you very much again. And now it's time for the winner of the previous edition of European Defense Challenge. The winners, actually, because we have two winners. We have Nathan Prokopec and Andreas Wouters. Unfortunately, Andreas is not here with us. He's currently very busy in a military training camp, but he has delivered a short video to share his experience from EDC. So now we will start from the video.
Hello everybody, my name is Andreas Wouters and I'm happy to share with you some experiences on the last year edition of the European Defense Challenge. Last year I participated with my colleague and friend Nathan Prokopec, and together we wrote an essay and a research paper on the role of autonomy in air defense systems, more specifically to counter hypersonic missiles. I will not discuss the content of our research paper, but I would like to share 4 lessons learned with you. First of all, team up with someone who has a total different academic background. 1 + 1 is not 2. In our case, it was a winning paper. Secondly, before you start writing, it is very important to brainstorm. Brainstorm about the central research question. It is important to think out of the box, to be creative, and then select the most suitable topic on which you will write your research paper. My third advice is to link the topic you have chosen to all different domains, going from social sciences to engineering sciences. My fourth and last advice is to ask questions. Ask questions to experts, to your colleague, and also to yourself. So, these were my 4 lessons learned. The last thing that I want to say is that I wrote a lot of papers during my academic career at the Royal Military Academy, but this paper will be the one that I will never forget. The most valuable reward from this paper was not a point. It was the appreciation we got afterwards. People were interested in our research paper, and this is very motivating. I would like to wish you all the best of luck, and I'm already looking forward to read your papers. Thank you.
It was very nice from Andreas that he sent us this short video. Now let's go to Nathan. Nathan, I have a few questions to you. First of all, mm, can you tell us what motivated you to take a part in the competition?
Well, first of all, obviously, I have a professional interest in military technologies since I'm one of the end users. But otherwise, I'm also an engineering student and I do have an interest in European politics. And this challenge was a good way to, in one way, put myself on the map in the different European organizations that exist out of there. And in another way, it was a good project to actually test the different skills learned during my academic career. How to write a paper, how to do a proper research, and how to properly analyze a problem and critically think about the solutions, like an engineer should, or a candidate engineer should.
Mhm. Nice. And tell me, what was the most difficult in preparing your proposal?
I think one of the most difficult things was narrowing the field. I remember that our paper was about 10 pages, and after those 10 pages, we had about 7 pages of sources. Because as the more I read, the more my field of view expanded, and the more interesting topics I encountered, which I wanted to write about. And as Andreas said, asking questions is important. We discussed often how we should proceed, and he often had to ground me as well to keep things compact. So for those 10 pages that we actually submitted, I think over 30 or 40 pages were written and then filtered down.
During the previous challenge, we were also delivering the seminars, the online seminars. How these seminars helped you in preparing your proposal?
The seminars are a good help to get the skills needed for writing a decent academic paper and actually getting into the mindset of doing research. And otherwise, the talks from industry giants were inspirational and also helped in narrowing the field of research to see what is the industry actually interested in when asking the question, how can autonomy be incorporated in the battlefield, which was my topic last year.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and tell me, how did your career has been boosted after winning the challenge? Have you noticed?
Well, yes. As Andreas said, it was the recognition is the biggest reward. I've had several interviews with big names in the defense industry, like Rolls-Royce, Leonardo as well, Hensoldt, and there's also more recognition from people higher up in my own organization. I noticed that, for example, I'm now a young officer. That's colonels and majors are asking me about my paper and are genuinely interested, and that is the biggest reward, I guess, I could ask for, is the recognition and then the ability and the opportunities that are presented to proceed in more research.
And the last question to you. You are a soldier, so it is obvious to take a part in the European Defense Challenge. But what is your opinion? Why other students who are not soldiers should take a part in this challenge?
Well, us as military personnel, at the end of the day, we are the end users of the military technologies being developed, of course. But as has recently been said by the colonel, and as you have said yourself, the goal of a military is not to engage in a war; it's to prevent a war. The first rule in the art of war is to not start a war. And I think that the civilian world plays a big role in that, because after all, also as the colonel has said, the military is just a continuation of the politics. We want to prevent a war and we want to safeguard the civilian population. For a civilian engineer to be or a civilian student to be interested in this field just means that they also want to safeguard our European way of living.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nathan, for sharing your experience, for this nice word. It was a great pleasure to listen to you. And again, congratulations for winning the previous challenge, and everything the best for your future career. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we are approaching to the end of this event, so I would like to ask Professor Gualtiero Fantoni from University of Pisa, who is the Assets Plus coordinator, to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Dorota. I would like to encourage our students to think in a broader way. So security means you have something with a value and someone trades it. So the question to be asked is, what are the assets to protect nowadays and what are the assets for the future? In business, we usually say follow the money. And now in security, I encourage you to follow the asset and their value, to understand how to deal with this very high challenge.
Thank you very much, everybody, for participating in the event. We are waiting for the students' registrations and applications, and good luck for everybody. Thank you very much.